Now, what is the most obvious thing that you notice about this part of the screen? Yeah, her. She's kind of hot, you know? I could see this FBI agent with the surfboard in her hand. You know? Is she flirting with that other FBI agent? Did she just grab him? He doesn't deserve you. She's real hot. Seriously. I bet she is tough as nails. I am not shitting you. I bet this woman is like no fucking around. You know. Like Sally Yates, you know, yeah, she's very pretty. She's an attractive woman, but you wouldn't want her questioning you if you had done something wrong. That's for sure. And I'm sure this woman is the same way. She's probably real smart, you know, and real blonde, tan, has a gun. It's pretty hot. It is. She could be in the FBI's calendar, you know, the hottest women of the FBI calendar. They should do that. That's totally sexist, though. This is what we're not supposed to do, is objectify women. So right now, I want to take this time out to apologize. Sorry for objectifying the beautiful FBI woman. I won't do this anymore. I apologize. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm still looking at the TV. She's pretty hot. But I'm not doing that. It's not important how anyone looks unless they're hot. I'm a dandy. I wanted pop-tarts. They have pop-tarts, but they don't have anything. They all have frosting on them. It's so disgusting. It's already a disgusting food. Why do you have to make it worse? Like, oh yeah, let's just throw more sugar on it. You know what I'm saying? Like they have... Come on, they don't have a plain one? God, dandy. Here's a section of tin that I'm putting up in the kitchen. Now, all of it had paint on it, so the paint had to be removed, but in many cases, I left a little bit on. I want to have that look. This one, and the ones that I'm working on now, I'm using a torch to burn the paint off. Once the paint is burnt off, then I go into it with a drill. Now this one, pretty much I'm going to put it up like this. This is probably all I'm going to do to it, and there's a couple sections I really like about this. Like this section in here, like these veins, these rust veins. I really like that. I'm not getting close to it with the drill. The drill pretty much is like used in this area just to get like some of the rust off. If there's like a huge area where there's a lot of rust, well, I might leave it on and I might take it off. You know, it all depends. But I sort of go over each piece of tin, you know, and each piece of tin that I put up is sort of dealt with individually. So this one goes inside now, and the thing about it is it will change its appearance. So it looks a certain way because I took the drill to it, but over time it is going to age. It's definitely going to age even more. One thing that I am going to do as soon as all the tin gets up, I'm going to go around the whole all wall surface that has tin on it, and I'm going to go over it with the drill. See if there's anything that I don't like. I wanted to get this stuff up so that I could sort of get a feeling for it, sort of like putting a base coat on a painting. You know, I gotta get an idea of what it's gonna look like. I sort of already saw it in my head, and I was like, oh, you know, and I started putting this stuff up, and it's looking great. So I'll get another piece, I'll put it here, and I'll start, I'll take the blowtorch to it and start removing more paint. Then I'll have 2 to work with tonight. This left on is really beautiful. It's very nice looking. Now here's one that I've worked on a little bit, but I need to get more paint off of it, and I'm using a torch to do that. I use a torch, and as the torch goes on it, I start using the drywall blade, and it comes right off. So you heat it up, and then it sort of becomes rubberish, right? And then you just scrape it off. So I put the blade sort of underneath it, heat it up. Now my dad, when I was a kid, my dad worked for PPG. And the thing about my dad is that if my dad was going to do something, he always did it the right way. Seriously, he was a perfectionist. As far as like construction goes, like very much a perfectionist, where I'm not. But my dad, when I was a kid, he painted the house. It was weird. It was like he didn't pay anybody to do it. He did it. And before he painted it, what he did was he used a torch and ripped off all the paint, brought it down to bare wood, and that's the way you get, you know, a wood. It was a wood house, so that's the way you get the wood off and get the paint to stick real good. You know, he used a primer. He did it right, you know. Not like me. I would have just been like, oh fuck it, like there's some paint coming off. I'll just, you know, when I'm using the roller, it'll flip some of the loose paint off. That's me. That's what well, actually, that's not really me. Well, in some respects, that's me. I just sort of heat it up. Like burning it to a crisp doesn't really help. This gets it off the quickest. Is just sort of getting it hot, getting it to bubble up, and then just taking the drywall blade. One thing's for sure, if you're gonna take the paint off your house, right, you're gonna use a torch, you'd want to have a hose handy. And each day, better than that, after you're done and you're gonna walk away from it, squirt it off with a hose. Absolutely. Never burn paint off your wood house, and don't do that. Think, well, it's not burning. You know, just don't make it real wet, but I mean, just make sure there's nothing there. This post in last night, it goes all the way to the roof. I just want to make sure that like no more sagging happened. So this building sort of like continues that way. So this is sort of like a halfway point. Hi Remy, how you doing? So I put this in last night and it goes all the way up, right? And then I put that little kind of shelf in right there. Do you see that? That's for Remy. I put that in. I was like, I just needed to sort of clean the whole thing up, and there was sort of like an empty space, a negative space. So I did that. So I put that in because I figured Remy would like it, and she did. She slept on that little thing. Now she sleeps with me, but I put that in late last night, and she was up there hanging out on it, and then I turned the light off, and if the light's off, you know, a bird will just like crash. So she slept up there, so she likes it. Up there on there's Remy up there on the perch that I made her. Remy, you like that, right? Right? When she bows her head like that, that's like an affirmation. Right, Remy? You're a good girl. See, I know what Remy likes. She likes it. I put consideration into my house for Remy for sure. It's pretty high up, Rem. Look at you. You look good. That's awesome, Rem. Rem, I'm taking down that styrofoam. What do you think? What do you think about that? It's good. Good idea. I'm sick of looking at it, and it serves no purpose now. We don't need it. That's like an old roof right there. There's a roof over that roof. So I was just trying to keep this area, you know, like a couple rooms warm. It was impossible. was so cold in here. You know, you have no idea how cold it was. Look at Remy. Well, that is a good-looking bird, seriously. She's beautiful. Good-looking bird, Rem. Little Remy. When it starts getting close to nighttime. So they'll stop and they'll wake up as soon as the sun rises. And I just put these peanuts out here. And even though that it's getting dark and the blue jays want to, you know, they live in the woods behind my place. Some of those assholes still show up and still start taking peanuts. Come back and there's a package on my porch and I didn't order anything. I ordered nothing. I don't know what's in this. Should I touch it or should I maybe I should call someone. It has my name on it though. Could be a bomb. Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it, really, who cares? I'm working on the basement a lot lately. There's a lot to do, and it's sort of rewarding working on the basement. There's not like a lot visually, but it's like the guts of the building. So I have stuff to do, and I never really like coming down here, and now there's heat down here, so it zaps the humidity in the wintertime. There's no humidity because the heat just sucks the humidity out. And then in the summer, I have exhaust systems that get the humidity out of here. But there's a lot of water damage down here from just the humidity. Like some of the pilings were, they're like these timbers. They're like these rough cut timbers. And I think one year I had mushrooms growing on them, but there's definitely been fungus, there's rot. So to get in that corner right there is where I need to go because there's a bathroom over that and there's a lot of rotten wood. I had to put up all these timbers to shore up the floor because I don't want to go in that section and not have this section really stable. Because there's wood over here that needs to come out that's totally rotten, totally old, and I have a bathtub on top. One thing that I do have that's sort of structural in the bathroom. I have a stone floor with you know, crete or grout. So it has like some more structural integrity to it than it did. But I probably shouldn't have put that floor in. I probably should have done this first. This was years ago. So I got to get in that corner, and every time I would like get in the bathtub or whatever, I had this feeling that it's going to fall down to the basement, honestly. So I put up these 4, well, more than 4, you know, at the front of this part of the basement, so that I can get back there in the corner and feel sort of safe. This goes into the kitchen right here. Like that was all loose and just sort of hanging down. There's various problems throughout, so there was a lot of like shoring up areas with like this, and then throwing the pressure treated stuff under it for right now. It's jammed in there real tight. You know, you could just see, like, you know, it's just like ancient shit that I put up this morning to try and see, like, all this is just absolutely rotted stuff. This is just, it needs to come out. You know, look at it. It's just fucking falling. Here's a section of an, you know, I don't know what this was. This might have been a barn. Maybe this was the root cellar door at a point. I'm not really sure. But what I am sure is that I need to rip this out, and I don't want the bathtub falling on me or the toilet. I did do some stuff when I first came into this place because I didn't want, I knew that there were issues down here. I think I'm gonna put this in. So this is all rust that's occurred maybe in the last 10 years or so. This is something I jacked the floor up with. So actually it's not too bad. Like this is like new stuff. This isn't too bad. You know, this plywood that I'm on. Actually, this doesn't look too bad. I'm not as freaked out as I was now that I'm looking at it. I do have that, but that really might not have to do with anything. I don't think anything's laying on that. I think I can just get that out of here. You know? This thing was real scary. This thing, I was one of the first things that I did down here. It looked, you know, it does have that joint. It's not bad, but it just sort of looked like, you know, this weighs a couple 100 pounds, 300 pounds or something. And it's just sort of hanging there, and nothing's tied into it, right? There's a lot of stuff. Well, it is on a, that's okay. It has a lightness to it, though, that it shouldn't, and I think that it... Trying to get as much of this stuff done, the big stuff, the heavy... You know, I could paint out a room and train a dog. That's not a problem. Go train the dog, come back in, paint for a half an hour, go train a dog. That's fine. But this bigger stuff, this construction stuff, the rip-out stuff, doing the roof, it's very difficult to do all that stuff when I have a client here. So I'm trying to get as much done as I can. And one of the things that I want to get done is this area here. Now this area here was sort of, there's like a really thick tongue and groove wood that I'm taking down because it's all loose and it's not hooked into the floor anymore. But at a point, this old tongue and groove was underneath the floor in the living room. So I was sort of holding it up, and it's an old plank floor with like gaps in it and stuff. So I am taking this wood down and I'm going to use it. This is beautiful stuff. Now there's some rot at the bottom, no big deal. I'm going to take a saw and cut it off. I have quite a bit of it. I mean, this is a lot, and I don't want any of this to go to waste. This is expensive wood. This would be expensive wood. It would. This stuff, this old wood like this, is a premium. And yeah, it looks like shit right now, but I'm telling you that this old wood can really be sweet looking. So this has to come down, and then I need to come into this area, and I want to brace the floor up a little bit, right in this section so I don't get any sags. I have a few boards that are loose that like when I walk in this room above me, like I can feel it. Like when I have a kennel in this room and Ike is in the kennel and say I let him out and Ike is coming out. He's a real bouncy Labrador. Comes out of the crate and sort of like bouncy, I can sort of feel it. So it's not like a totally mushy floor. There's no rot in this section like in that section. It's all real dry over here. I sort of lucked out in this area. Not a lot of rot or anything like that. So I got to take this down, and in here is like this room. This room, I think somebody was using this as a grow room. That's what I think, because there's sort of, well, actually, you know what? This might have been a cellar. That might be why those shelves are up. This might have been used as a root cellar. But I do think that somebody was using this as a grow room, because I think when I bought this place, I think my neighbor Kevin told me that, and he might know. So he said that I think that they were growing weed down here. I think this was the area that they were doing it, because there's some silver, like reflective, like insulation up, and I don't know why they would have been insulating this one little area and why they would use anything that was reflective. See what I'm saying? It's stuff that people can't see, but I know that this is, you know, like just getting the humidity out of here, getting the mold, you know, dealt with, you know. Nobody can see that, but it improves the building and improves my health. I don't need this. I don't need this. It is an issue with this floor in here that is not concreted. Maybe I bring some bags of crete down here and I pour the rest of the, you know, concrete there. Or maybe there's some kind of product that I could use, like rubber mats, like stall mats, something. But I got to clean this up, and I want to get that wood that's used for shelves, and I want to use that. I want to use that for probably decorative or maybe functional purposes. I don't know, but I want to get that wood. Example, I just cut off the end of that tongue and groove board, and then I have another 6 foot. I could use it for a farm table or something. This was here when I moved in. Well, I didn't really ever move in until recently, but it didn't work when I moved in. But I'm how do I put this? I'm sort of mechanical about certain things. I don't really know why that is, but I've just sort of always been like that. So I don't really know how to work on HVAC, but I got it going. But every year I had to like sort of put it together to keep it going. And then about 4 years ago, I'm like, I'm not running this. It's unsafe. And it wasn't just unsafe, it was inefficient. It was maybe I'd run it for a week and a half. It cost $850 or something. It was freezing. I did it, and then I'm like, this is a waste of money. I'd rather freeze. But I mean, like, this is due to me, you know? All of this, I had to put a condenser in here, you know? The motor wasn't running. I needed a condenser. I did that myself. That's why it looks like this. It looks all jerry-rigged. This is how I would run it. Totally unsafe. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. To get a heater in here, I have a heater in here. I have a it's warm, but it's not like this kind of heater. It just sort of heats the floor above me by radiant heat. It's one of those what do they call it? Ventless heaters. It works great. It works great. No problems. There's no problems. I guess I was shocked to hear that they had that, like these ventless heaters. But I think how they sort of work like an oven or something like that, sort of. But then, like, if like oxygen got low, it has an oxygen sensor on it. It just shuts the thing down. So they're totally safe, and I've never had it shut down. And I also have a carbon monoxide detector, and it never goes off. So, you know, they wouldn't be selling them at Home Depot and Lowe's if they didn't work. Now, to replace this isn't too much. It isn't too much. I already have a duct, and I didn't really want to return. I was just like, just suck the air from down here. It doesn't need to be, you know, suck it from any place else, was about $2,200 to put. Lennox said that it was like, yeah, I think that that's what they said, $2,200 to remove this and put the new one in. Do I want to spend $2,200 on that? No, no. But I'm sure this will be something that I'm going to do just so I have a more efficient heating system, because the heating system that I have right now is pretty good. If I bumped it up to something modern like this that had a real high efficiency rating, the ventless heaters they have a 98% efficiency rating or something. Like, there's not a lot of waste. There's not a lot of waste. They're good. They're good. But if you really want to get it spread out throughout the whole house, this is the way to go. But I mean, I'm fine. I'm a man down here. It's plenty warm, and I keep turning the settings down as I insulate the house more. And that, you know, the house is pretty good right now. There's no drafts in it. I haven't gone up in the attic. I know in a while. I know that the attic has insulation, has that kind that you can shoot in there that looks like old newspapers. You know, it's like a crumbled up. I don't know what they call it. But I have batting insulation too that I was thinking about. Maybe I'll use upstairs in the attic and just lay it across. Or not, I could use the batting insulation in the mudroom where I'm going to train that, or turn that into like a sort of dog training room. Like that's right above there, and I'm working on that right now. It's working out real good. Here's an old sump. I put this in, but you see there's water in it. That's where the water table is. This is also where I've seen salamanders, like in the two sump pits. I got 3 actually. I just don't need to use them anymore. I don't know what I used to make this sump pit, but it looks like I smashed some holes in it. But anyway, so I put this one in too, and as you see, like, there's water about 13 inches away from the concrete floor here. So this whole area here I have considered digging out and turning into some kind of pond. There's some issues, though, that I'm dealing with, like, thinking about it. I'm like, well, if you turn it into a pond, it is inside your house. You know, there would be fresh water flowing into it, like, by osmosis or whatever, you know, like seepage. But that's not going to really be able to, like, you know, it's not, it's going to fuck up, it's going to smell. You know, it's like an aquarium. Like, you have to have some kind of filtration system. So I can't just dig a pond in my basement, I don't think. I don't think that would work. I've been thinking about some kind of filtration system, and then I thought about digging a pond and then creating some kind of, I don't know. It's just an idea. I want koi. I'd like to have a koi pond down here, you know? Along next to the house, I dug these, like, sloping down to the road. I dug out these troughs, and then I lined them with rubber. And then I backfilled them with a lot of gravel and sand and stuff. Most of it, at a point, I was buying it, but then I'm like, man, I have like a sand vein in my house, and I have a gravel down there. Just start bringing it up in bucket loads, and that's what I've been doing. That's why you could see that it sort of looks wet there. That's sort of like the edge where I was digging out a lot of the gravel and rock. It's drying out now. But I was thinking, like, maybe I should dig it out a whole lot more and put a koi pond down here. I like the basement. I do. I like this basement now. Now that there's heat down here and the humidity problem, it's like there is no humidity problem. Like, the smell in this house is totally different. It was totally different above me right now. There were about 5 or 6 layers of linoleum and floor. Under the, right when you got to the planks, they had laid down newspaper. They laid down fucking newspaper from like 1930 or something. That stuff just was, in one section they used like a blanket. before they put the linoleum down. All that shit was rotten. As soon as I got all that old flooring out, my house smells normal. It was horrible. This is the biggest change in my house, you know, as far as like positive stuff goes, is the humidity and the mold and you know, it's just the smell. It's just totally different. This was my plan for the summer. I got a lot done this summer. It was difficult. Man, I had Sparrow here. Sparrow. The worst case of separation anxiety I'd seen in 10 years, and I was still sort of getting some stuff done. Not much. Luna was here too. It was difficult. It was difficult. Both dogs did great. This is part of a exhaust system that I bought to get the humidity out in the summer. When the heater's on down here, no humidity. It totally dries this place out. But this has been invaluable for keeping my house healthy, and this was not that expensive. Maybe $160. It's a portable thing. I can move it around if I needed to. And then it just hooks into that air duct. And that, and I have another small one that's a window unit that sucks the stuff out pretty good. In a perfect world, if I had time, I'd also put like some kind of exhaust coming out of this area that I had so much water problem in. I love this, by the way. This rough looking stacked stone and mortar, it's great. I don't know what year they put in this shit, this fucking wall that doesn't even go all the way up. I don't know what year they started doing this. It's shitty though. I'll tell you what, in the summer, like the heat isn't on in here. Like these walls will sort of like sweat. I know who it's from. Not Debbie Wasserman Schultz. It's from Milk Paint and Wood Boy. Absolutely. Say hi to Remy. Awesome tin, right? Expensive molding at Home Depot sucks. That's milk paint. That's milk paint right in this, for sure. Milk, and I know what's in this too, I think. Moo Moo Muesli. It's a very good product. It is. This is very nice of her. She just sent, I didn't order this. She just sent it. I'm gonna send Jinian some of this actually. Jinian, you'll like this Jinian. It's really good. It's a very good product. I'll eat it right out of the bag. I just tip it up and eat it dry. No milk, no yogurt, no nothing like that. But you could tell just by when you start eating the product that there's like this individual thought. You know, it's really individually done. Each bag, like they bought like some $15,000 thing just to mix the product up, because you'll see like when you're eating it, like the dates, everything. Like when you're eating it, like it's all mixed up real good, and it makes a difference because like, you know, the dates aren't at the bottom or the almonds aren't. It's all mixed up properly. It's great. The thing of it is that it's a really great product. It is not cooked. It is not granola. It's muesli, and it's just like this sort of like, I'm telling you, it's great. It's not granola. It's muesli. You can add yogurt. You can add milk. Or me, I honestly tip the bag up, and I eat it raw. I don't do anything to it. You can cook it, I think, but I think generally people with muesli, it's just milk. Some people do milk and leave it overnight. Some people just yogurt, and like me, I just like it dry. But it's a very good product. Moo Moo Muesli. You can get it online. I think the point that I'm trying to make is that respect is not a law. There's no law that you have to respect an image, okay? That's what that is. The flag is an image. There's no law that says that you have to do that. It's tradition. That's all it is. Stand. So what's it matter if somebody's kneeling or doesn't want to stand at all? You see what I'm saying? Like, if somebody didn't stand I'd probably think that they had a hurt leg. I wouldn't think anything about it. You know, I wouldn't help them up. Come on, stand up. It's the fucking flag. It's absurd. There's nothing in the Constitution. They don't really talk about that. It should be, listen, let's just say hypothetically, you told a cop to fuck off. You might get billy clubbed. If you were in England, probably not. But here, yeah, you might get billy clubbed. And it would be because you were disrespecting the cop. But the point is that you should be able to disrespect the cop. I'm not telling you to do that. No, don't do that. They have a hard job. You might catch the cop on a bad day. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not advocating that. No, absolutely not. I'm just saying that you should be able to say fuck you to the cop. There's no law that says that you can't. And I'll tell you something. This is honest God truth. If you did that and they arrested you, they'd probably charge you with something like disorderly conduct. That's what it would be. Do you see the point? Like, respecting the flag, who cares? It's an image. It isn't what our country is about. A tribe of brown sparrows that live on my property, on this house, and I like them. I like them a lot. I've always worked with brown sparrows. I've always helped them when it's an invasive species. There's several invasive species. Those starlings, you know, it's not considered wildlife. So I'll help them if I can. 2 days ago, I came out here and I heard a commotion. Bucket was looking out the window, and there was the tribe was out, and they were beating the hell out of one of them. And I looked out the window and I saw the big dude just pulling feathers off of the one that was crawling underneath a rock. So I ran out here, I stopped it, and I brought the guy inside. He passed away anyway. Just 3 minutes ago, I hear a commotion, and the tribe is out here again, and they're doing the same thing. They're fighting. It's a fight where they're all circled sort of around, watching one of the big older ones beating the hell out of a younger one. I was just like, fuck this. Like, what the fuck? Like, I've said this about sparrows, is that they're little killers. They're extremely smart. They're as smart as a raven. This bullshit of like, oh, the raven's the smartest bird on the planet. Give me a fucking break. You know, do you know how many bird species there are? I'll tell you what, the raven, the crow, they're clever, yes, that's true, and they have been studied a lot, but the thing about them is that they aren't as stable as some of the other birds. Like a brown sparrow is real stable, so is a pigeon. A pigeon is extremely stable. Like if I walk through the house with a ladder or something on my shoulder, that'll flip out a parrot, that'll flip out a raven. But pigeons, brown sparrows, they don't really care. It doesn't bother them. But they're killers, and they'll beat up on each other. They hunt in a pack like wolves. That's what they do. They're persistent hunters with bugs. They also will do a lie in wait. Like they'll go into like heavy foliaged area and wait for them. I'm telling you, they're incredibly smart, but they're also like a chimpanzee in a way. And that they have this social structure that they're in a tribe. That's how they function, and they're very social. So at times, man, there's like little wars. They'll beat the hell out of one of the birds. They'll kill it. They'll kill one of their own, like a chimp. I think yesterday, where I got the bird from, the bird was like underneath this, crawled all the way underneath here, trying to hide, and. You know, I picked it up and the bird couldn't get up. I'm telling you, vicious. They are absolutely vicious. They're dinosaurs. That's what a bird is. They're smart. Look at the blue jays. Check it out. Elbow T-bones. Do not buy these for your dog. This is garbage. Look at this. Porterhouse flavor. Steak-shaped dog treats. It's crap. First ingredient is ground wheat, water, flour. In other words, not a lot of meat. When I think of white bread, I just think of poverty. That's it. It's terrible. It's terrible. Why can't a company sell good bread? This is what they have in a convenience store is garbage. 2 days in a row I have somebody telling me that I should dedicate my Peter Caine dog training page on Facebook to Bigfoot and Sasquatch. Are you fucking kidding me? Mind your own business, you know? People don't like it when I post anything about politics. Oh, you want me to just be like this Bigfoot researcher? I hear this bullshit all the time. Stick to dog training or stick to Bigfoot research. You know, what the fuck is the matter with you? I'm sorry, am I making you think? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. You know, it really upsets people that, yes, I'm a Republican, and no, I do not think that Trump is doing a good job, and no, I would never have voted for him. It bums you out. Well, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? Take this column here and just take it back to my house. I have a place that would look pretty good. I was thinking about Placenta Girl, and Placenta Girl is a friend of Milk Paint's. And Milk Paint and Woodboy, they live in Schoharie County in Sharon Springs. And Milk Paint had this friend, I can't remember her name, it's not important to the story, but she got pregnant, wanted to have the baby, and so she got pregnant, she wanted to have the baby, and the woman was attractive, youngish, I think. I can't remember how old, but, you know, younger than me for sure. You know, she's pregnant. She might have been 30 or something, 32. I don't know. Maybe she's in her 20s. I'm not sure. But she was working for Milk Paint and Woodboy. And so I'd ask about her. I'd ask Milk Paint, well, what she looked like. And she said, oh, she's really good looking. The guys really like her. You know, she's... And there was a video out on YouTube, and I went with her in it, and I went and looked, and she's real attractive. But I'm talking to Milk Paint. I'm like, well, let me get some of that, you know. And Milk Paint's like, no, I'm not gonna hook you up with whatever her name was. I can't remember. And I said, well, why? And she said, well, you wouldn't get along with her. And I said, well, you know, you don't know that. You don't know that. And she was like, no, I do know that. No, I am not hooking you up with her. Okay? Now, Placenta Girl, the reason why I call her Placenta is because that she had the baby. She had the baby, and then her plan was to eat the placenta. Come on, man. What's the matter with you? What kind of hippy-dippy shit is that? You don't have to eat the placenta. You're not a cow out in a field. Go have a hamburger. That's gross. That's absolutely disgusting. What, are you gonna lick the baby clean after it comes out too? So anyway, Placenta Girl, I think, either made lasagna with her placenta. I'm about to gag. Fuck, that's gross. Or I think that she had some kind of talk about like drying it out and making it into pills and eating it, you know, every now and then over a period of time or something gross, you know. So Placenta Girl, right? Milk Paint doesn't talk to Placenta Girl anymore because Placenta Girl just was too weird, too sort of extreme. And that's how I saw her, as like real extreme, but very attractive, you know. So, of course, I wanted to have sex with her, and Milk Paint didn't want me to have sex with her. It pissed me fucking off. Anyway, it's rude. Why didn't you hook me up, Milk Paint? You know? No, she didn't want to hook me up with Placenta Girl. So, but now that Placenta Girl has eaten the placenta, I wouldn't touch her. It's disgusting. I was asking Milk Paint pretty much like about the falling out. Like there was this huge falling out that like I remember Milk Paint was saying something about, yeah, she wanted me to get involved in it. It sounded like a pyramid scheme, I think, something like that. And she always kept talking about it. And she says, I was just sick of it. And so Milk Paint told her to blow, right? Like, get out of here. You know, this just isn't working. You know, can you imagine? You know, this is just, but I mean, granted, there was sort of a friendship, but there was like a business relationship too. And it sounded like the woman was just appearing all the time with her crazy ass shit and her pyramid scheme. So anyway, so I'm getting all this information from Milk Paint. I'll quiz Milk Paint. I'll say like, you know, ask her important questions like, when was the last time you and Mike did it? Which you know, they're like my age or they're a few years older than me. That's not going on with Milk Paint anymore or Wood Boy. They're not. They're just like whatever. I doubt Mike even jerks it anymore. Seriously. But anyway, so she's telling me about you know, Placenta Girl and her kid. So they go down to Costa Rica, and the kid gets tapeworm, and she said that the fucking Placenta Girl, hippie girl, is giving her kid fucking enemas to get rid of the tapeworm, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is that? This is a woman that had to have natural childbirth at home with a midwife. She got all tore up and everything. You know, all this fucking bullshit. Now she has the kid that she's raising as a vegetarian. Like a vegan kid. Okay? That's been proven by medical science that that's not the best idea. Okay? So she's doing that, and she is so afraid or so disbelieving that medical science isn't just like this big corrupt thing, that she's treating her kid for tapeworm herself by giving it enemas. I would have my dog at the fucking doctor getting worm medicine like the next day. I wouldn't be trying to treat it. Do you know what I'm saying? If it was a kid and I found out that like, oh, that's a tapeworm coming out of my kid's butt, I would be at the emergency room. I wouldn't be fucking around. My kid has a fucking worm in him. Are you fucking kidding me? Put my kid on ivermectin or whatever you give him, and let's get this done, you know? Keep in mind that I was a vet tech, okay? And I sort of have like a basic knowledge of like what happens if an animal, like a human, gets tapeworm. And the point of it is you can't get rid of it by giving them a fucking enema. That's ridiculous. You have fucking insect eggs in your fucking child or your dog. You have to put them on something so that, you know, it'll be different stages of the tapeworm. What the fuck? You go get medication from the doctor. Not only that, prophylactically, if I knew that my fucking kid had a worm in him, I'd be saying, hey doc, maybe let's run a cycle of antibiotics too, just in case, because it probably knocked his, you know, immune system down, having the parasite in him. And Placenta Girl doesn't give a shit. She's gonna cure her kid by giving it a fucking enema, you know. And one other thing, this enema deal, while we're on eating placenta, I'm sorry, but the enemas, no thanks, no thank you. Remy had worms, right? Remy, if you had worms, do you know what we would do? I'd be going down into New York City trying to beg a vet to see Remy. No, I wouldn't. I'd just worm her. I can get worm medicine for a pigeon, right? See, she knows. When she does that, that's an affirmation. She's saying that that's right. Right? Little Remy. Talking to somebody today, and they brought those two up. You know, and I'm like, God, I don't, you know, it's a stupid podcast. It really is. it's fixed. They're fixated on scatology. You know, that's a big deal. And it's sort of like this, it's not comedy. It's like they're trolls. They're trolls. And I don't really find that funny. You can't say that they're like Tosh. They're not. They do take stuff from the internet, but they really do. They try and like, you know, they're trolling people. And then they use their minions to, you know, their followers to troll the person they're trolling. Just absolutely stupid, you know? Jeans. Fucking shut up. Fucking fat ass and fatter ass. So they have the lunatic's van, right? And look at the cars that are escorting the van. I thought that this was strange. It's like they got like some F-150s. They have like O.J. Simpson's car. That's O.J.'s car, I think. They have a little tiny. They have a couple little tiny cars. You know, like what's up with that? Like, how come they're just not using like, you know, why aren't they using like cop cars or something that like, if you were driving down the street, you would just think that like these cars were just taking up, you know, going too slow or something. There's nothing to really indicate that these are even cop cars. This little one's a cop car too. That's a cop car. That does have some lights on. I take that back. No, wait a minute. There's some lights. But none of the trucks have them. You know, none of the F-150s from the FBI have them. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, do they need like a really expensive car like this? Like a truck? Like, I mean, I'm not bitching. Yeah, I am sort of. Like, it seems sort of a waste. Like, I don't know. You know, maybe those trucks were seized or something. But you would think that they would sort of, if they're going to use seized trucks, they would sort of make them more into a cop car, an FBI car. That's an expensive car. Isn't that an F-150? Maybe I'm wrong. Look at the tarp now. It's totally fucking coming off. Like, is this the first time that these people have done this? I'm sorry, do I sound like a bitch? But I mean, don't you think that they would have used a product that would actually work, like a car cover? No. Hey, Charlie, go down to fucking Lowe's and get me one of those blue tarps and some duct tape. It'll stay on. We don't have that far to go. Look at the tard. Look at him. He's so fucking crazy looking. Can't you just see him with the mega hat on? I can't. Look at him. Oh my God. Put him in a fucking Make America Great hat. He loves Trump. What a dick. He's gonna spend the rest of his life in jail. His car. I'd buy it. I'd buy it. Seriously. I don't care that the dick owned it. I'd buy his car and burn it. No, I wouldn't. I'd drive it. Are you kidding me? It looked brand new. He fucked it up with all the stickers. Maybe it isn't brand new. Maybe that could be fucking a 12-year-old van for all I know. You know, other than the stickers, he might take really good care of it. My cars, on the other hand, he thought he was a genius. The eyes of a moron. They didn't even work. They didn't even work. Well, it did sort of work. It freaked everybody out. So they had to stop the van and deal with the tarp, right? So they're going back and they're doing the same thing that they were doing before. They're using the blue tarp and however they tried to clip it on or something. It's ridiculous. It's like, look at these guys. You know, break out the duct tape. You know, is he using duct tape? Yeah, I think he is. He's got some. No, he's putting on his. Oh, they're gonna ride back there and hold it. Okay. Yeah, he's putting headphones on. That seems ridiculous. Okay, I'm sorry. I know I sound sort of bitchy and shit, But like they should have fucking the proper equipment. You're talking about a cover for a van. What are those? $50? You know? I just can't believe that they're using a 10 by 8 blue tarp from fucking Home Depot. You know? It seems outrageous. It's like, you know, I also can't believe that the FBI has F-150s. Like, what the fuck is up with that? This just seems like, one, they're taking a huge chance. They're taking a huge chance. They have the tarp over it for a reason. I'm bitching. I'm sorry, but you have the tarp over it for a reason, and the tarp isn't working properly. So instead of stopping, they're going to continue driving, right? You have the top, you know, it's to like save everything that they can. You know, this defeats the purpose, you know? It's just sort of a disappointment in Tarpgate here. You would think that they could, you know, get the proper car cover. There's all those fucking agencies down there, right? This is a major area in the United States. Major, I sound like fucking Trump. But it's the Miami area. You have FBI, you have state police, you have county, you have, you know, city, and nobody could come up with anything better than the blue tarp. I'm sorry. This is stuff that we should expect in Trump's world. Yes, we did catch the guy. We caught the guy, but we don't have the proper equipment to, like, really secure the evidence. You know? But good job catching him, seriously. They caught him pretty quick, you know? I guess that they're so confident that they got this guy, which they probably are, that they have plenty of evidence. It doesn't really matter. Let's just use the blue tarp from Home Depot. Just put this metal roof on just a little bit ago, and the first thing that I did was I got a can of spray foam, and I sprayed it up there because I knew that the birds would try and get in there before I did the finish work, right? So I come out here today, and I see one of the brown sparrows has, like, pecked a big hole in it. And there's two of them on the roof just sitting there watching it, and then this sparrow goes back up on the roof, and then another one comes down and pecks it for a while. What the fuck? You know? I love the brown sparrows, but that's so uncool. Here's my plan. I've talked about this. I'm going to put a birdhouse maybe up there. This is going to be a box with some holes in it, and they can use that. I understand, you know, these birds, they have to live around human beings. This is where you see them. You do not see brown sparrows in the forest. They live in buildings that human beings live in. That's fine, but they can't live underneath the roof. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to take some flashing real quick and make sure that they can't, you know, peck it out and get stuck in there or something. And then put a birdhouse up. Maybe a couple, maybe more than one.